Hello, folks. Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. This is a Raw Oakland Review. Show literally just got done, and honestly, compared to other Raws, it was actually fine. It was fine for what it was. Not everything was a home run. Not everything's going to be on a 3-hour Raw, but with 3 more weeks to go till Hell in a Cell, well, 3 more Raws, this one next week, and then the following week, basically, because Raws, now Hell in a Cell, rather, is October 30th. I thought it was the 23rd. I thought it would make more sense that it would be the 23rd. So, they got a lot of build, and they hyped some matches pretty good. I mean, not great, but here we go. So Sasha had a decent promo to open. Sasha, it's nice that she's a face. She does get over with the crowd, but I'm sorry, Sasha's a much better heel. She doesn't sound like she's trying to force herself being face, but she almost seems like as a heel, she's just able to cut it a whole lot better. She does have a good, she did give some good attitude to Rusev, came out later, and Charlotte. And it seems like officially Charlotte and Sasha are going to be in Hell in a Cell. First ever women's Hell in a Cell. Paige and AJ Lee did fight for that, I believe, back in 2014. That didn't work, unfortunately, but whatever. It's nice that Charlotte and Sasha are going to get that chance, so good. The Black Swan comment from Rusev was pretty nice. It was a weird opening segment because it's like you had Charlotte doing her entrance, and all of a sudden Rusev's music hits. Rusev and Lana come down. It's just a weird segment. I mean, it was fine. It was different, and it was a way kind of mash two feuds into one and lead to a future match. Reigns came down. My God, boy, Oakland, you must hate Reigns. And again, a lot of crowds do, honestly. At least the vast majority, not everybody in the crowd, but Reigns, yeah, not really. I'm just not buying Reigns. It's like the way they're pushing him. He won the U.S. title 2 months after coming back from his wellness violation. Sorry, I don't care. You're not punishing the guy. The guy isn't being buried at all. He's just a mid-card champion, and then you're gonna probably give him a title match at Mania 33, which would be ridiculous. And I mean a world Universal title shot. But anyway, it was a fine opening segment. Rusev cut a good promo. It was set up nice for the match later, mixed tag match later. And then you had Cesaro versus Kofi. Way to build more of the New Day and Cesaro and Sheamus being a tag team. It was a match that you could have seen back in 2012, 2013, except both guys were faces here. Instead when Cesaro was a heel. And it was fine for what it was. Kofi had a bit of a botch, slipping off the ropes. That's going to happen. Botches will happen, whether it's at a house show, live Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view, no matter the size of the pay-per-view. So good thing Kofi's okay. Hopefully he is. And it was just a slip, and he wasn't injured badly or at all. And, I mean, Kofi got the win, and you're just putting more tension with Cesaro and Sheamus. Can they work together? I fear that they're going to end the New Day's title reign in Hell in a Cell, and I'm not sure I want to buy into that. Only because they got New Day's reign so close to Demolition's, that I think is sometime right before TLC in December or right after. They need to, they might as well just go for broke and just go for it here, because if you've gotten past 400 days, what's a little more? I mean, Sheamus and Cesaro could just have infighting. They don't ever have to win the tag titles. Sorry, I don't really think that them being tag team champions is going to do anything for the tag titles. I'm not saying New Day is going to do much for the tag titles. Their run has gotten stale, but you might as well give them the record at this point. You might as well just push them to the point right here, have them beat teams like maybe the Shining Stars on a pay-per-view, or don't even have them defend the titles at Survivor Series. Have them win at Hell in a Cell, have them defend the title, or have them in a 5-on-5 match at Survivor Series, elimination match, and then just have them feud with somebody. And I don't know if Roadblock or TLC, which one's the Raw pay-per-view, but if the Raw one is TLC, then, New Day should have the record by then or very close. Anyway, so it was a fine match. Bayley versus, I don't know if it was Cammy or Tammy Fields, whatever. I mean, it was a squash match, more squash matches, more jobber matches. Gets a chance for these younger, these talents that nobody knows, vast majority of people don't know, to get on TV. It was fine. Bayley won. Good. And then you had Dana Brooke attack Bayley. So you seem like you have an underneath feud going on here. It's going to go to Hell in a Cell, no doubt. Could be on the pre-show. I think that'd be a mistake. Have it on the main show. Bayley deserves to be on the main show. Even with somebody like Dana Brooke. I don't know what they're doing with Dana, necessarily. It seems like they're like stop-go on this whole tension thing that they could be doing with Charlotte. So Dana's attack was justified because Bayley attacked her on Raw last week. So this could be a fun little feud. I hope Dana doesn't win. I fear she will, but Bayley should win here. Bayley should win this, even because not pushing Dana too fast or pushing Dana much at all as a singles wrestler is not a good idea. Cruiserweight match: Lince Dorado and Sin Cara versus Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. Love Tony Nese. Tony Nese great. I'm really excited to see him on Raw. Same with Lince Dorado. He's doing well. Gulak, he has a cool style. Sin Cara, he did fine here. He'll do fine in the Cruiserweight division. As long as he doesn't punch anybody in catering like he did to Simon Gotch. It was a fine match. It was a kind of a car crash almost, where it's like they had to fit about 12 minutes worth of spots into about 6 minutes or 7 minutes. But still, not a bad match. It popped the crowd, so there we go. Foley and Steph, it was really just hype for Hell in a Cell. It was fine, but, Foley and Stephanie hyped like 3 Hell in a Cell matches, which is overkill. I'm sorry. I know Owens and Rollins deserve to be in a Hell in a Cell. Reigns and Rusev doesn't, but I can understand why they have it in a Hell in a Cell. Sasha and Charlotte does, because that's a better built feud. But 3 Hell in a Cell matches is just going to kill it. I mean, I'm sorry. You can't have them all in a row, but you almost are going to have to. You're almost going to have one after another after another, because otherwise you got to put the crowd through raising the cell for about 10 minutes. Or, 5 to 10 minutes, or however long it takes. So 3 cell matches is just going to get to be overkill, no matter how much they vary them. I think Sasha versus Charlotte will actually probably be the best one, because I think both ladies realize they have a lot to prove, so it should be fun. Owens and Jericho. Look, I admit that for a while I was saying with Jericho, it's like he'd gotten stale. His wrestling wasn't bad. His wrestling was fine. And his heel turn didn't bother me, but it seemed like the character was stale. He's really turned it around the past couple months, and I got to give him credit. The whole list of Jericho, that kind of stuff, that is great. You just made the list. That was good stuff to Foley. That was really cool stuff. Owens and Jericho, they keep having the building friendship, but building the tension with Jericho eventually snapping on Owens, or vice versa, or whatever. I think Jericho snapping on Owens would probably be better. Because it almost seems like they're going to try to turn Owens babyface, which I don't think is going to work. But Owens could be kind of a tweener, because he's too cool to be a heel, like, a downright heel for long where people hate him. People can boo him, but they respect him. And I mean, same with Jericho. But that feud should be money. It will happen right after Hell in a Cell, which should be fun. It could lead in the Survivor Series. That would be a very fun match. Rollins using the obsolete, the word obsolete, make those plans obsolete. And dead serious, delete chants came from the crowd very briefly, but it was nice and that was cool. I think that's more of a way of kind of tying this whole rumor that the TNA sold their tape library to WWE and Billy Corgan's going to rebrand, which should be fun. I would actually like to see that. And WWE owning the TNA library could add more subscribers to the network, and Billy Corgan gets a company to start fresh. So there we go. So Axel and Bo versus Enzo and Cass didn't happen because Gallows and Anderson come out and beat Enzo and Cass while Axel and Bo are on the outside. I like what Bo is doing, the whole rhyme thing, kind of like his brother. Really, like his brother Brave, really nice. I happen to be a fan of Bo. I wish they could use him better. Axel, I think, unfortunately, is about where he's going to be, just a jobber, which is unfortunate given how he is talented. The guy just can't translate that charisma onto TV. He's a pretty well-spoken guy in interviews. But anyway, you then had Bo and Axel, Bo Axel, it's a dilapidated Bo Axel, as I called it, versus Zayn and Neville after they came back from commercial break. It was okay. It was fine, but it's like, this is the best you can do with Zayn and Neville? Why is Neville not competing in the Cruiserweight division? And I mean, Zayn, I don't know how much Zayn weighs. I don't know if Zayn weighs 190, 205, 210. I don't know. I don't know if he weighs 220. I have no clue. But Neville should be able to be in the Cruiserweight division. I think he's at 200 pounds or just under, despite how muscle-bound he is. So hopefully this is a placeholder. Zayn and Neville, don't get me wrong, competing for the tag titles wouldn't bother me, but they could be so much more than a tag team. They are a fun team, but this has to be short-lived because you got to do better things with these guys. Titus versus Truth, it was bad. They were fighting over the whole payday thing that Truth did with Jericho earlier, holding the payday out, the cheap plug during the live show. It was better than Booker T and Edge fighting over a fake Japanese shampoo commercial. That was horrible. It was WrestleMania 18, and it was nice to see somebody have a sign say they're fighting over shampoo. That was funny. Yeah, Titus versus Truth was bad. And what do you expect? It wasn't any good. Perkins and Kendrick, it was decent build. Backstage segment, decent build for their Hell in a Cell match. I'd be fine with Kendrick winning the title here because Perkins has at least had it for like a month and a half by the time the pay-per-view comes up. I'm okay with that. Now, Perkins could win and feud with somebody else, but if Kendrick got a win and then, Perkins won it back at Survivor Series, I'm okay with that. Kendrick could at least justify this whole, redemption storyline. And Kendrick could hold it for a few months and drop it to Rumble. Who knows? But it's good build so far. Braun versus two jobbers, more squashes. Yep, I like that. Braun requesting tougher competition. Harper's on SmackDown, so I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know who they're going to have come up. They could have Joe come up and face Braun. I don't know. Maybe he'll face three jobbers, and he'll just keep building this to Hell in a Cell. Maybe, I don't know who he'd face. I'm trying to think of who he'd face. I mean, probably Samoa Joe, but they'd have to build that all the way to Survivor Series. And it's going to be Nakamura versus Joe in a loser leaves NXT match. Reportedly, I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've been seeing. So if that's true, then Joe will no doubt, maybe he'll come up on a Survivor Series and beat Braun, like beat him up in a match or whatever, and it'll end in a count out. And it'll be a way to build that feud to the next pay-per-view. Maybe that'd be kind of fun. Rumble plug already. I mean, guys, we got two pay-per-views, or we got one more pay-per-view this month, Survivor Series next month, two pay-per-views in December. You guys could have at least waited until Survivor Series to plug the Rumble. I mean, I know it's in the Alamo Dome. You're trying to push a huge amount of tickets to sell, and I understand that because the Alamo Dome's a very big venue. It's what the 1997 edition was in. It was in that venue, which was really weird. It really was a bizarre venue for them to have like that huge, or like the Rumble, that huge of a venue. It was odd, but whatever. The Rumble plug already. I didn't have a problem with it, but it made the other pay-per-views that are coming up feel unimportant. Like, the Rumble's the Rumble. It's the 30th anniversary. I get that. It just felt like they could have waited even till Hell in a Cell at the very earliest to plug it because it felt too early. That's my opinion. I love the Rumble. Felt too early to plug it. Rusev and Charlotte versus Reigns and Sasha. I mean, boy, Sasha got a ton of cheers and Reigns just didn't. I mean, Rusev even got a decent pop whenever he was beating up on Reigns. And Charlotte and Sasha had their good thing. This is really just a way to build both feuds. Charlotte taps out at the end, and Reigns hits a spear on Rusev. As Charlotte taps out Sasha. So whatever. It was fine. It was a fine match. It wasn't bad. It didn't go on too long and overexpose Reigns as being somebody that he can do more moves, but he's not allowed to do more moves. And really, his character is so one-dimensional now. I mean, any time another dimension gets added to his character, WWE just yanks it away. And they got to stop doing that. And I really wish that Rusev would win the U.S. title back at Hell in a Cell, but he's not going to. Because, unfortunately, Reigns is going to be made the guy to hold the U.S. title and yet not defend it. I know he's only had it for a couple weeks. I can't imagine he's going to defend it much before Hell in a Cell. If at all after Hell in a Cell. He might not defend it even in Survivor Series. They got to make the title mean more, because if you're going to put it on Reigns, at least have him defend it. Have him defend it at least every 2 weeks, every week. Have him do the Roman Reigns U.S. Open Challenge. Won't go over as well as Cena's, because Cena can get more out of guys than Reigns can, because Cena is more of a veteran and a better worker. But you could do that. I don't know. This would be kind of interesting. But anyway, so tension between Jericho and Owens, that's no doubt going to happen. That's going to be a great match. Survivor Series, like I said. Goldberg, the people got home, friends got home. Goldberg interview clips, Heyman hyping up the whole thing. That's what I got to say of that match. That's what I got to say to Goldberg versus Lesnar. It is going to be a total, it's going to suck. It's going to suck, absolutely 100%. It's going to suck. I am not. It's going to be horrible. How can you expect a 46, 47, 48-year-old Goldberg, whatever he is, he's near 50, how can you expect him to be any better than he was in his prime? Come on, people. And Lesnar hasn't shown much of any effort. The last time he really showed any effort that I can remember is when he beat up everybody and almost tore the ring apart, the Raw after Mania 31. I mean, it's not, I'm not interested in it at all. Goldberg's supposed to be there next week. Yay. What happened to surprises? It's going to suck. Emelina, no, I hate this name. I'm glad to see Emma back on TV. I hope that Emma...
Oh, she's back?
No, she's not back yet. She will be soon.
Why, Goldberg? Why?
Emma will be... I'm on Emma, not Goldberg. Emma will be Emelina Stupid, sounds like a DreamWorks princess. Brian Kendrick on commentary for the T.J. Perkins Ariel Daivari match. That was nice. It's nice to see Daivari, the younger brother of Sean Daivari or whatever the hell his name is, on Raw. That was really cool. I think that the cruiserweights, they need a little more character. You need not just say, hey, they're cruiserweights, they're high flyers. You need to hype them better. I mean, you got a 3-hour show. I don't care if you got an hour's worth of commercials at least and about 2 hours worth of replays. Get some more hype for the cruiserweights. Come on. Jericho versus Rollins. If Jericho won, he would be added to the match with the Owens Rollins match at Hell in a Cell. Very fun. It was a very good match. It got better as it went along. I wasn't sure how long it was going to go, but got very good as it went along. Plenty of good spots and plenty of good. Oh God, Jericho's going to win. I actually thought for a bit he was going to win, but no, you can't do that yet. Have Rollins and Owens in the Hell in a Cell. Triple H comes down, beats up Rollins and stuff like that. You don't put that match in Survivor Series, but you have Rollins still have a legitimate gripe. Rollins versus Owens versus Jericho, perhaps at Survivor Series if you want to do a triple threat then, and you could have Owens win. You could have Owens lose the title. Jericho could beat him or pin Rollins, and you could have that happen. But Jericho versus Rollins is a nice way to cap it off. So no, it was not a great Raw, but it was still a B- edition to me. C+ to B-, because it went by at least decently fast. It didn't. Besides the Goldberg interview clips and Truth versus Titus, it wasn't a horrible Raw. It just was kind of there. They had good hype though, so I'll actually up it to a B-. It was a good addition, not great, but had some moments. So, do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop a comment whether you agree or not. Feel free to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.